You can't imagine how tired of this shit I am. Oh, who am I kidding? Of course you can tell exactly how tired of this shit I am. YouTube is dead, Twitter's dead, Facebook is dead, censorship is here, fascism is here, and the name of fascism is, well, it's had many names over the years. It's spread like a cancer. It's metastasized. At first it was feminism, and then it was intersectional feminism, and then it was inclusion and diversity, and then progressivism, and it's all the same beast. Communism, fascism, two sides basically the same coin. For those of you who are triggered by certain words, fascism is right wing. No, it's not. It's actually a form of socialism, just like communism is. And what is socialism? Authoritarianism. It's control, and it's always abused. Always. I've had to explain to people simple concepts, and I just don't have the patience to explain to people things. I think they're stupid, but then I remember a few years ago, I didn't know anything about politics. I just believed what people told me, and I didn't know how much I was lied to. It's hard to explain to somebody who keeps trying to compare things like universal health care and whatnot to charity, to goodwill, to being good, just simple goodness. And I explained to them, what is good about stealing? And they don't get it. Look, it's a meme, but it's the truth. Taxation is theft. But that doesn't mean that I think that some taxes should be levied for some things. The post office has got to get run. The roads got to get paved. There's got to be cops on the street. There's got to be a military up and running. I get it. But what makes you think you have the right to take billions of dollars from all sorts of different people to pay for your ludicrous pipe dreams? What Bernie Sanders is currently asking for as his healthcare plan couldn't be funded if you took every dime that every billionaire in the United States has, all of their money, and put it in it. It wouldn't run the thing for 10 years. I don't even think it would run the thing for 5. It's bullshit. People are promising pure, unadulterated fairy dust and pony farts. It's bullshit. Elizabeth Warren is the worst offender of them all, because she won't admit that you have to raise taxes. A lot of people don't know that Trump lowered taxes almost across the fucking board, from the rich to the middle class to the poor. He reduced spending. He slashed costs. And he's managing to build the wall. Do you know any of that if you're a leftist? No. You don't know how much of the wall has already been built because they won't talk about it. You don't know about peace accords in North Korea because they won't talk about it. You won't know that literally everything that they're saying about this Ukraine call is bullshit. They keep using this word quid pro quo. Guess what? When it comes to an illegal function, because literally anything that is an exchange of services, anything that is an exchange of services is a quid pro quo. Give, then take. That's all that shit means in Latin. That's all it means. So what did Trump do? He said, please investigate Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, because Hunter Biden is an American citizen who doesn't speak the language they speak in Ukraine. I don't even know what the fuck that language is. I assume Russian. And he's collecting hundreds of thousands of dollars, nearly $1 million per year, sitting on a board of an energy company that has been repeatedly investigated for corruption. Now get this. There is video fucking proof. You can find it no matter how hard YouTube wants to censor it, where Joe Biden is at a speaking function and jokingly, laughingly explains that he called the Ukrainian president and said, we have $4 billion coming your way, and you will not get that money unless you fire the special prosecutor who is investigating this energy company. And then the cherry on top is Joe Biden says, and if you don't believe me, call Barack Obama, call President Obama, and he will tell you, you will not get this money. Joe Biden is not in any trouble for this. And guess what? It is, as far as I can tell, through my understanding of the law, that Joe Biden doing this is corrupt, it's dirty, it's a muscle move, and it's legal. There's literally no reason why he can't do this. None. Except for when it comes to what was actually being investigated, the investigation that was quashed, which doesn't particularly have to do with Joe Biden, although it might, but it does have to do with Hunter Biden. Now, Donald Trump, later on, has a phone call that we have the transcription for that says, you should look into Joe Biden. It'd be in the best interest of your country. I think it'd be a good idea. Some people claim that there were funds, a lot less than $4 billion, or however, it was several billion. I may have that figure wrong, but it was something in the neighborhood of fucking $500 million or something was coming their way, and it had been held up months previously for some reason that I can't hear from the media and is not being said by the Trump administration. Trump makes no mention of this during the call, just says it would be great for the both of us if you investigate this energy company. And he doesn't say Joe Biden's name, he says Hunter Biden. In fact, if I was paraphrasing earlier and I said Joe Biden, I'm making a mistake, like half the leftist media is, because he doesn't say that name. He says Hunter Biden. I think he may not have even said Hunter Biden's name in the call, but he did mention that energy company and that it should be looked into again. Now, guess what? None of that's illegal. Not a fucking bit of it. You'll notice that the media is trying to say, oh, it was wrong of him to muscle Ukraine, which is not illegal. What they're trying to impeach him on is saying that that's a campaign finance violation, that he was trying to make a deal to screw over Joe Biden. Guess what? It's not illegal. Hillary Clinton did it in 2016. Jeb Bush did it in 2016. Repeatedly. Hillary Clinton got the Steele dossier from the Russians. Jeb Bush did opposition research with Ukraine. So did Hillary Clinton. So, none of this, by the way, is illegal. It sounds shady. It's something that's not usually talked about in the media. It's kept hush, and now it's front and center, and everyone's like, oh, this is ugly. Every election, every candidate does opposition research. Digging up dirt on your opponents is not illegal. And the whole quid pro quo thing, under the statute of campaign finance laws, means that basically Trump would have to pay money to a foreign diplomat or have a foreign diplomat pay him to do something either illegal or, basically just illegal. Either they pay Trump and say, Trump, do something illegal for us, or Trump pays them and does something illegal for them. Nothing that occurred was illegal, nothing that was discussed or planned was illegal, and no money changed hands. It's bullshit. And that's just one thing in a microcosm. One microcosm in a fucking, just a thing and a thing and a thing and a thing, and it's like a fucking planet and a solar system and a fucking quadrant and a galaxy and a fucking globular cluster of bullshit. You're lied to constantly. And you gotta notice the priming language they keep using. They say things like, oh, Ukrainians definitely died. They're in a war. Who died? Where? In what engagement? I know that the Ukraine is in a conflict with the Russians. Nobody's being shot currently, as far as I know, and I'm pretty sure they're not, or we would have been told where and who. So that's a lie. The quid pro quo thing is a lie. The muscling thing hasn't even been proven. Everybody who's been interviewed about this says that the funds were held up and then given before this call was ever taken place. The timeline doesn't add up. It's bullshit. Just like they say that, oh, Trump said there's good people on both sides. He was talking about pro-free speech conservatives who were present at Charlottesville. And presumably not every leftist protester at Charlottesville was a fucking psychopathic Antifa thug. And keep in mind that Fields, the guy who ran over Heather Heyer, was fleeing from people throwing bricks at his car, that somebody had pointed a semi-automatic rifle at his car, and that he was fleeing and accidentally hit Heather Heyer, who was in the road, who then died not of injuries related specifically to being hit by a car, but by a heart attack, because she was a fucking giant fat whale. And he got a bazillion years in prison for what is essentially vehicular manslaughter. Which, yeah, he hit a person and they died. They fucking charged him with first-degree premeditated murder. It's a farce. The judge was an opportunistic thug. And that's another thing the leftists have done that nobody's even talking about now, that the entire judicial system has been preloaded with men who do not respect the Constitution. They have no concern for the rule of law. They are partisan obstructionists. They are combatants, not honorable judges. It's a fucking farce. Everything is a goddamn farce. And now we're going to get all the way 11 minutes into this video that may or may not get taken down because I'm going to say a name. Eric Ciaramella. By the way, the whistleblower who recorded this call and reported it as hearsay, he got the transcripts from somebody else. He wasn't present. Soderlund, his fucking lawyer, or one of the fucking lawyers involved with this thing, wasn't present for anything and didn't even get his shit secondhand. He got it thirdhand from the New York Times. He is not a person with knowledge of this case. Anything he would say in a court of law would be known as hearsay and therefore basically disregarded as bullshit and easily torn apart in cross-examination. It's garbage. It's a lie. So Eric Ciaramella has been seen in photographs, it's all over Twitter, taking smiling photographs of his arm around Hillary Clinton, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi. He's a CIA agent. He's a deep state fucking nerd. He's basically the evil Shadow Realm version of Edward fucking Snowden. He's a CIA geek and a partisan hack just like the fucking rest of them. And what are they all? Traitors trying to fucking basically perform, well, they say it's conspiracy, but it's the fucking literal truth. This is an attempted coup. They will try everything. They will try voter fraud. I mean, I'm really surprised there hasn't been an actual attempt on Trump's life. This is insanity. And you look at states like California who are just fucking falling apart. States like fucking Oregon falling apart. States like New York falling apart. Baltimore, Maryland fucking falling apart. And everybody's fleeing from these shitholes that the leftist Democrats have created to places like Colorado that turned blue, places like Texas, which is getting towards purple, places like all over New England, all those states I can't remember, fucking Delaware, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, fucking all the way down to Vermont, everything's getting fucked. Because basically it's a disease physically as it is intellectually, and it spreads, and it spreads, and it spreads. The EU's fucked. You are already dead. Canada's fucked. And the way Canada's system is, you can't even beat Trudeau. A lot of people are like, oh, we got to get rid of the first past the post polling with electoral colleges. No. This is the last thing I'll mention because I know this is getting to be a long video. How did Trump win the election? A lot of people characterize it as a close election. It actually was not very close. Hillary got some major states that have a lot of electoral votes. Like California has the most. New York, I believe, has the second most. She got a lot of the central U.S. that has some measure of votes. Places like Kansas, Oklahoma. I don't remember if she won Oklahoma. I don't think so. But I believe she won Colorado and Nevada and New Mexico and California. And she won 20 states. She won something like 490 districts. Trump won over 1,500 districts, I believe. Or she might have won like 600 districts. But Trump won over 1,500 districts and 30 states. And he beat her by, I believe, 70 electoral votes. Folks, it wasn't close. The thing is, there are these major metropolitan areas. Basically about somewhere between 7 and 13 big cities. New York, Seattle, Los Angeles, San Diego, Baltimore, Chicago, Denver, a few other places. That's all who voted for her. Nobody else fucking did. And the thing that fucking murderized her is Trump won Pennsylvania and Trump won Florida. If Hillary Clinton had just campaigned in Florida, even a little fucking bit, might have changed things big time, because Florida's got a lot of votes. Why is this like this? Keep in mind, it's still weighted. The major metropolitan areas like New York and California have tons of votes. Places like Wyoming have like 3. California, I believe, has 55. Okay? It's still fair. But the reason why occasionally losers of presidential races win in the popular vote is because a metric fuck ton of her votes came from just 2 cities, Los Angeles and New York. Millions and millions and millions of votes. 2 cities. Trump got his votes from every fucking where else. The silent majority is real, folks. And the silent majority is so angry, and actually even the people who aren't just news junkies, aren't political junkies, aren't shit posters or groypers or whatever, they're paying attention. And believe me, though, to me, the only threat to Trump is the fact that a lot of conservatives now are sick of Israel's bullshit. They're sick of the money sink they are. They're sick of the corruption center they are. They're sick of the control that Israel has over the media. Israel has significant control over both sides of the political party. Do you ever wonder why you got John McCain going, we got to bomb Iran? You got Hillary Clinton going, we got to bomb Iran. You got fucking like John Boehner, bomb Iran. Why are all these neoliberals and neoconservatives always saying the same thing? What is our problem with Iran? Iran wasn't responsible for 9/11. Iran has never directly attacked us. Iran is funding some terrorism across the Middle East, but Iran is actually a member of the Shiite minority Muslim group. The Sunnis are more like 80% of all Muslims. Iran is not really friends with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, by the way, has similar interests to Israel in the region. So you got Saudi Arabia and Israel saying, fuck with Iran. Why do we gotta fuck with Iran? Because they want to. Not us. They want to. And they got money fingers dug fucking deep. Deep, deep, deep. Especially Israel. And you're starting to learn that the conservative party of yesteryear, of 10 years ago, almost all of their interests in global politics has almost nothing to do with America and a lot to do with the interests of the state of Israel. Now, I'm not one of these people saying, oh, fuck all the Jews, or the Jews control everything, or they're the Illuminati, or Israel doesn't have a right to exist. No, I don't really think any of those things. I mean, there might be some merit to some of them, but all I know is America first. And what is America's situation? Israel basically has a blank fucking check to just take. Take military shit, take money, take aid, take the interests of NATO in their fucking country. They get everything for fucking free. And everything that Zionist fucking media personalities in America are telling us is fuck the wall, fuck heterogeneous communities of similar religious values, ethnicities, races, cultures, whatever. Fuck your homogeneity. But Israel is surrounded by a wall. And most of the Israel first type people will say, oh, Israel's this nice cosmopolitan country. But out of the other side of their mouth, they want all the Muslims and the Christians and the Hindu people to get the fuck out of Israel. They want a Jewish ethno-state, surrounded by a fucking wall with cultural, religious, and ethnic homogeneity. They want what they tell white people they can't have. You can't even have white pride, but they get to say Jew this, Jew that all fucking day. Israel this, Israel that all fucking day. And then you look over in America, black this, black that, gay this, gay that, trans this, trans that. But whatever heritage you have, whether you're Irish or Swiss or Norwegian, or you come from Norse, or you can trace your ancestry in France all the way back to the Gauls, or you're from You got family that go all the way back to Roman times, or you're whatever. And they're even doing it to Asians now too. But if you're white or East Asian, fuck you, fuck your culture, fuck your right to exist, fuck your right to everything from to be allowed to live around other white people, to only want to date other white people, to only want to date other straight people, to not want to date a woman who still has a penis. Fuck you. Fuck everything you want. Fuck every sovereign right you have. Fuck your right to privacy. Fuck your right to freedom of association. Fuck your freedom of speech. Fuck your right to keep and bear arms. Fuck your right to, what do you call it? Due process. Your right to face your accusers. A lot of what Trump is just saying is, like, first of all, the rights that the whistleblower, whose name I will say again, Eric Ciaramella, the rights he has is to not be immediately fired and prosecuted for being a whistleblower. None of that is occurring. He does not have the right to have his name erased from the media. He does not have the right to prevent private citizens or politicians, including the President of the United States, to say his fucking name. And even though YouTube will censor you and Facebook will censor you because they are partisan propagandists, they are fascists, literally, not colloquially, not for slang, not in a metaphor, not in a comparison. They are literal, by definition, fascists. I'm not kidding. So you can't say his name. None of this is true. All of this is a deliberate, willful use of abusive and frankly somewhat illegal force. Keep in mind, this last thing I'll say, I swear to God. YouTube and a lot of other tech companies have magically avoided legislation that is supposed to govern their behavior that has been set up for 80 some plus years. They've somehow avoided that. They need to be either a platform or a publisher. A publisher is responsible for everything that goes on that they print or produce or fucking let be on YouTube. They have the responsibility to curate it, to commit it from being criminal in any way, and they also get to control every little fucking bit of it that they want. Or they are a platform that is subject to FCC and FTC rules. They're subject to the constitutional amendments. They cannot censor you. They cannot ban you. Okay? Somehow, banks like Chase, this shithole bank that I unfortunately have an account with, believes they have a right to just fucking sever service with anybody they want and deny people service. All the time because, you said a bad thing. Or they're scared of you because the fascist progressive media has put out a bunch of hit pieces about you. And keep in mind, nobody ever pressured the banks that we're aware of in the media. Somebody behind the scenes has told banks to fuck with certain people as a deliberate collusion act. We don't know who those people are, but I hope it'll come out soon enough. Project Veritas should start looking at Chase and Bank of America right fucking now. And, but besides that, there's no reason why on a platform you just get to do whatever as long as it's not directly violating the law, and that the only responsibility that YouTube or Facebook or Twitter would have as a platform is to cooperate with law enforcement and provide information if law enforcement has an active investigation into a crime. Otherwise, they have to let everything go as long as it's not falling under probably certain rules about pornography or certain kinds of obscenity, extreme violence, depictions of, felonious crimes, all that shit. They have to let everything else go. And honestly, in the business sense, it's in their best interest to be a platform and to benefit from the free market that they can only have from the platform. The publisher is subject to its own constrictions, just the same as they constrict everybody that they publish. It's a smothering thing that is abusive. It's subject to fucking random whims where there's people aren't treated the same, people aren't subject to the same rules. It's all subject to the whims of the publisher. And we know that the higher ups right now at YouTube, chiefly among them Susan Wojcicki, or however you say her name, is a fascistic piece of shit who is running YouTube into the ground and costing Google and Alphabet billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. The problem is the cancer is already in YouTube. It's reached the brain and they don't fucking care. They're so disgustingly rich, so despotic, so fucking debauched that they don't care that she's wasting tens of billions of dollars. Basically just being a fucking dick to everybody on the platform and just fucking making it worse for everybody, causing all these fucking apocalypses and colluding with the media that's causing it. The New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, the Huffington Post, Salon, Jezebel, fucking The Guardian, all these cunts. The media is the enemy of the people, whether you are American or European or fucking Latin, whatever, fucking South America, whatever the fuck. Whether you're from Asia, whether you're from Europe, you are being fucked with every single day. And I've already told you, they'll come for your money, and they have. They'll come for your reputation, and they have. They'll try to kill you, and they have. And the fucking judges are letting these Antifa thugs get off with slaps on the wrist while they're giving 114 years to a guy who accidentally killed a woman. The devil's already here.